I'm very humbled to be here today. I don't say that very often, but I mean that from the bottom of my heart. It's going to be quite an experience. There's a lot of people here in this room that I need to thank. If I started to thank all the people, I'd get myself in a lot of trouble because I'd certainly miss some. And I learned that about 30 years ago when I ran for the county board. We would go to these fundraisers, and they're, and Omaha's a little bit bigger than Decatur, and so there could be 300-400 people there. And I'd go through the room and I'd point out the mayor, ideally, and sheriff from Shelby County. I'd point all these people out, and I'd get done, and I'd get down, and somebody would undoubtedly come up and say, "Well, it's too bad Devin isn't here." Oh, well, she is. And I don't know what's wrong with me, but I did that like more than once, and well, I won't tell you what happened when I got home. But so thank you everybody for being here. And there's so many good friends in here. When I look around, people who have supported me and helped me and given me this opportunity. But obviously, Sheriff Snyder is the one who ultimately asked me if I would be willing and able to step into his shoes. Nobody could step into his shoes. I can tell you that right now. That's impossible. But I will say that he's given me an opportunity to learn things that I never, ever imagined that I could learn. To see things that honestly have affected my life priorities, and to meet people that I hope I will call friends for the rest of my life. But I'm also going to tell you how I ended up to where I could be standing here today. And it was about 6 years ago, and I went to see Tom, and I wanted to ask him a few questions about, well, kind of how things work with the sheriff's office, or how they should work. I'm going to tell you a story about Cochise County, and Chief Smith can attest this is true. You can still pull it up on the computer and find the traffic stop. I did that once. And so we bought this farm a little over 6 years ago in Arizona. And we were down there building a new road. Charlie Jordan was down there on the scraper, and Tracy was down there on the excavator, and I was running the bulldozer, which is one of my favorite things to do. My mom always said I didn't have enough Tonka toys when I was little, so now I got big ones. So they didn't need me all the time, so I thought I'm gonna go drive around the neighborhood. It's a big flat, lots of desert, but also lots of center pivots, and I saw a for sale sign, which is always dangerous for me. And I thought, well, I might go look and see what that is. So I drive and I make a circle around, and on the way back to Baker Road, which is the road where the farm's at, I go by a deputy sheriff. Wave, no wave. Okay, whatever. Maybe that's the way they are in Arizona. So, no offense, Chief. And so all of a sudden I'm going down Baker Road. Now this is a dirt road, and kind of through the dust I see these lights that are like, they could have been, the guy's front end could have been inside the box of my truck. But anyway, so I slow down and stop carefully, kind of. And and before that, I tell you this. So before that, on my way out, I ran into a border patrol agent, and I stopped. He was cutting line and looking for tracks, and I stopped, talked to him, and I asked him if he knew a few guys that I knew from Nogales. He said, "Oh yeah, we're good guys." And we were talking a little bit, and then take off. So when lights go on, everybody else that has lights, they show up. So unless it's Chief Getz going to wax his boat on the weekend. But anyway, so the border patrol guy comes rolling up right away, and this deputy looks at him, Deputy Mendez. I remember the name now. And he looks at the border patrol guy, and the border patrol guy's kind of walking towards him. He says, hey, that guy's okay. And the deputy turns to him, and he goes, "Did I ask you?" And I thought, this is not going to go well. So he asked me for my insurance and my license and my driver's license. And I give all that to him. And I was back in the car. Now back then, I thought this is a long time. But now, I know it's a long time. Like 20 minutes later. He's messing with me. So 20 minutes later, he he comes back up and he says, well, Mr. Buffett. And I said, sir, it's Buffett. And he looks at me like, do I really care? And I thought, oops. And then he says, I don't know how they do stuff in Decatur. And I said, it's Decatur. And I thought, what? Why did I say that? And he kept getting a little more and more agitated. So I kind of got a little smarter as the stop went on. And finally, I wasn't going to ask him anything, but finally at the end he volunteers. He says, now you know why I pulled you over? No, sir, I do not. Because you're a suspicious looking vehicle. He said, yes, sir. I'm as suspicious as you want me to be. So he leaves, and I thought, that's not right. You can't, there's this thing called probable cause. I mean, and so I went to see Tom, and I sat down and I said, Tom, I'd like to learn more about law enforcement, because that was kind of frustrating. And so he said, well, here's a couple things I can do. And ultimately, it led to, if you make time to do this, I'll give you one of the spots for auxiliary deputies. And that's what I ultimately did. And J.R. Otten, Lieutenant Otten, took me on, and we did all the coursework and did the range work, and so here I am today. So that was a big step. So I actually owe Deputy Mendez, although I could call him some other things, but I do owe him Deputy. And by the way, he no longer works for Cochise County Sheriff's Office. I had nothing to do with that. I also want to specifically thank the MCSO sworn officers that are not just in this room, but the guys that are out on the street right now because they've got shift and they can't get off. A lot of guys took a big risk with me. They really did. And I think they do that with all auxiliary officers, to be honest with you, because, when you're out there, and I've learned this lesson a couple of different times, you have to think fast. You don't get time to think about what the options are, and you better react the right way. And if you've got a partner, you're responsible for that partner as well as yourself. And I will say that these guys have put a lot of trust in me, and I will never fail you in that trust. And the other thing I want to say today is I'm actually trying to make Senator Highcamp late for a plane, so I'm going to talk long. The other thing is that, there's a reason why law enforcement means something to me that I would have never imagined 20 years ago. For the last 20 years, I've worked in countries that are overwhelmed by conflict and pain and injustice. I've worked in some of the most difficult places, and some of the people who have worked with me, or I've worked with them, and those places are here today, and I appreciate you guys coming. I really do. But I've worked in places like Congo, Sierra Leone, Sudan, Liberia. Everybody knows where Darfur is. El Salvador, probably one of the most dangerous places in the world. It's not very far away. And I've seen many, many innocent people's lives destroyed. These countries have names of people who died from violence. Some of the places where we work, they have nicknames like the rape capital of the world, where they have rebels that cut chests of 9 and 10-year-old kids open and shove cocaine into them and teach them how to kill. That's what they do, and it goes on right now when I'm standing here. Most people look at those circumstances from far away. I've seen the blood-soaked ground, and I've held the hand of mothers who have watched their children die. It's a difficult thing to do. I've seen the fear in the eyes of children when they all of a sudden realize, I don't have a dad anymore, I don't have a mom anymore, because no one could stop the killing. There's no way that you can rationalize, excuse, or accept when you witness something like this. But many people will give you reasons for these circumstances. They'll say it's a result of poverty, or desperation, or corruption. They'll tell you it's because there's failed leadership. But I'll tell you they're wrong. They're wrong on all accounts. It can only happen because the rule of law is absent. So when the senator talks about the rule of law, I think about it in a very personal way. And I only give you this history to convey how important the rule of law is to society, because everything is built on it and societies fail if they don't have it. Our sheriff's office and every other law enforcement agency is critical in protecting our rights and our communities as a whole. They confirm the rule of law. Living in a country with rule of law is a great privilege. Many people here would understand that, but I guarantee you most people don't. So we have to protect it. And everyone in here in uniform or goes home and puts a uniform on knows exactly what it takes to do that, and it's not easy. And we're part of a larger system, of course, but we're on the front lines to protect that system. And the one thing that I've seen that I think is really something that most people could never understand is you get called to a detail and it's a mom who can't control her 8-year-old kid. Really? You know, be a parent. And then you're out somewhere and you might be negotiating with somebody who's barricaded themselves in a house. Or you might simply be on foot chasing a robbery suspect. There is no limit to what circumstances you can find yourself in if you're a cop. You know that, Leo. So I want to reiterate that I'm extremely humbled to be given this opportunity. This is perhaps the largest responsibility I've ever taken on. I do it with pride and honor, and I always do it with what Senator said, passion. I promise you that I will serve this community with all of my commitment and to my best ability. Thank you for the opportunity.